By the end of this video, you're going to know the Space Engineer's event controller so well, you'll be able to explain it to your own mother. I'm just in the middle of setting up some examples, but I'll explain things as we go. Looking in the event controller, toward the top of the settings, you'll see a Select Actions button. There's a few things here that aren't made too obvious. First, you'll see 3 slots. The first slot is triggered when the condition you choose is met. The second is triggered when it is no longer met. Ignore the third one, it doesn't do anything. This might seem limiting, but there are actually 9 toolbars worth of slots. On PC you can switch through them using Control and pressing the related number row key, or using the comma and full stop buttons. You just make sure you don't have search selected when you do that or it doesn't work. On console, make sure you have the toolbar selected and use your triggers to cycle through the toolbars. I'm going to be setting up an event in a moment, and when the condition that I choose is met, I want this red light to be on, and when it's not, I want it to be off. The next 3 settings we're going to look at are event, condition, and threshold. The event is what we're looking for, condition is the change we're looking for, and the threshold is the point at which we're looking for the change. I find it helps to think about it in plain English though. With this event controller, I'm concerned about if the red's piston position percentage is equal to or greater than, which is maths talk for the same or bigger than, 50%. Most events have a condition and a threshold, and a way to select blocks that you want to monitor, such as the default cargo filling percentage. Others only allow you to select blocks such as block on-off switched, and only one, block added/removed, has no settings. Events that require a condition and a threshold vary. Some measure angle, speed, altitude, or gravity, but most measure as a percentage. For example, while a rotor or hinge has an angle to measure, pistons won't tell you how far it's extended using meters, only a percentage of how far it's able to extend. If the event you're monitoring doesn't have a condition and threshold, then the actions will be in the order listed in the event name. For example, when using block added/removed, the first action slot is triggered when a block is added, and the second one is triggered when a block is removed. Below that you have a block selector. If you're anything like me, the search bar is going to be very useful in narrowing down your blocks. You'll also notice that the block lists sometimes have coloured names. These colours correspond to those in the grid blocks list to the left, with each subgrid having their own unique colour. This will help you find your blocks easily when there's a lot of subgrids. You've got add blocks and remove blocks too. Bear in mind that you can select multiple blocks. This doesn't average out the values, and it doesn't add them together. They're measured individually. Below that, you have the AND gate checkbox. More nerdy maths talk, but it's easier than it sounds. If it's unchecked, if any of the blocks you're monitoring meet the condition you've defined, then it will trigger the first action slot, and it will trigger the second action slot when all of the blocks stop meeting the condition. If it's checked, it's flipped on its head. It won't trigger the first slot until all of the blocks meet the condition, and will trigger the second slot when any of the blocks stop meeting the condition. For example, I'm watching these pistons using the event controller at the back, and with the AND gate box unchecked, if the red piston, or the green piston, or the blue piston are over halfway up, the light comes on. And when that stops being the case, it turns off. If I check the AND gate box, the red piston, and the green piston, and the blue piston have to be extended past 50% to get it to come on. Or and. Nice and easy. Please bear in mind that the actions in the event controller will only be triggered when the condition starts being met or when it stops being met. It won't be continually re-triggered. So this light can quite happily stay off despite the fact that all these pistons are up. If I just go ahead and bring a piston down and put it back up, then the light comes straight back on, which is wonderful. We love to see it. If you're looking for some practical examples of what you can do with the block though, click on this video so you can see what I've made on this base.